So toxin exposure has been coming up a lot in conversation with you all, and a lot of the comments you've been making on my post asking about what should I do if I have high cholesterol? What should I do if I have an issue with my thyroid? What should I do if I've been diagnosed with PCOS? What should I do? What should I do with a hormone problem? So we got to talk about it. So toxin exposure is incredibly broad, okay? Like we're talking about a lot of things that you probably aren't thinking about or noticing beyond just the obvious. So maybe obvious to me, maybe it's not obvious to you. So let's talk about the obvious first. That's going to be food, right? So highly processed foods, foods with added chemicals and ingredients you don't recognize, things like food dyes, those are going to be, right, toxic to your body. They're far from natural and far from things that your body really understands what to do with, okay? Other toxic things that a lot of us come in contact with that I might think are kind of obvious, but maybe aren't, are things like tap water. So tap water has a ton of chemicals in it. You can go to ewg.org/tap water to see what is in your tap water specifically. Make sure you have a really good water filter. I can recommend some if you're interested. Just let me know in the comments. But that is a really common exposure site for toxins. And when you look it up on the EWG site, you can see what each of the toxins in your water can potentially be doing to your body or where it can be burdening your body, which I think can be really empowering to learn more there. Now, some of the less obvious maybe exposure sites are going to be things like plastics. So plastic water bottles, plastic containers you store your food in. Plastics are really, really problematic. So anytime you have something that's sitting in plastic for a long time or heated in plastic, that's going to be a problem. So you want to minimize and reduce that as much as you really can. Other toxins, things in your beauty, skincare, hair care, all of the things, especially as women, that we put on and around our body, you need to become really aware of what's going on with that. EWG also has a great website called Skin Deep. There's other apps like Think Dirty. You can look up and put in all of these products you use, see their rating, and research other products that are going to be less harmful, okay? I also have a whole module, by the way, in my course, The Balanced Hormone Blueprint, where I take you through this whole process so it's not super overwhelming, where you go through all these different parts of your home and you pull everything out and you replace things. And it doesn't have to be wildly expensive, by the way. So that's kind of makeup, skincare, hair care, stuff like that. Then we have the next layer, things in our home, things we clean our home with, candles, cleaning products, things we use to try to make the house smell good, like Febreze. These are all really problematic. You want to get rid of them. You want to find healthier replacements that don't have fragrances in them, don't have a lot of chemicals in them, that are using more natural agents in order to clean, like, for example, vinegar and water and essential oils. Those work wonders on a lot of things. The things that doesn't work on, I use things like hydrogen peroxide or baking soda in. You can do a lot naturally, okay? You also can buy more natural products. That's another option. Okay, other things that can be toxic, building materials, okay? Building materials, things that we have in our home that a lot of us don't ever open our windows, don't ever open doors, don't ever let fresh air in, don't use air filters or purifiers. Those are all things you want to be thinking about, okay? One of the most simple things I have a lot of clients do is literally open your window. Just open your windows, air out your house for 15 minutes every day. Now, you don't want to do that if you live somewhere where there are wildfires, for example, but a lot of times we have that stagnant air and we have building materials that have trapped in all kinds of organisms, all kinds of chemicals. We need to air things out. That's another one. Okay, what else do we have? There are many, you can tell, right? Okay. Certain medications, if you don't need them. I'm not your doctor, so I can't tell you if you need them or not. Taking excess things that we don't need can become toxic to the body, okay? That's really important, and you want to be aware of and thinking about that. Injectables, hate to say it, but I don't really see a space when you're a woman dealing with a diagnosed health condition or severe hormone problem. I don't see a space or a reason why we would be putting injectable things into our face that are literally toxic. Like, I literally looked up the website of this esthetician that's local to me. I was just curious to learn more about her. I looked up her website and I went through to like her describing her services, and she literally lists Botox and Botox like products as neurotoxin. Like, that's the category of what it is, y'all. Like, we need to be paying attention to this, okay? So there are lots of things in and around us, things we put on our bodies, in our bodies, that are toxic, and we need to be addressing that. There's a reason autoimmune conditions and autoimmune issues are on the rise. There's a reason severe hormone problems are on the rise for women. The toxin exposure is something you really have to make sure you're dealing with.